The same day repeated for 1,000 years. What if every day your time reset? If you were stuck on the same day, what would you do? At first, you'd feel lucky. You'd start spending money like crazy because it will reset every day after all. Soon you'd realize life isn't interesting at all. So, you start seeking fun in crime, gambling, and things like that. You don't need to worry about the consequences, but it's annoying that everything you've done gets reset. You want to get out of this life, so you try to kill yourself. But every time, you just wake up again at 7 a.m. on July 7th, 2020. A guy said while holding a drink in a bar in his pajamas, "Yeah, so today is the day that I've lived in for 1,000 years. A lady in the bar said, "Wow, but did you need to invent such a crazy story just to chase a girl? This tactic is old already." And he said, "What I said is true. I know thousands of languages, and my hacking skills are the best." Now, you must be wondering why someone like me would hit on you. Because I'll wake up tomorrow, back to today. If I sleep with you, or do anything else, it won't matter. She said to herself, "It's the first time I've met someone like this. I don't know how to communicate." She messaged her best friends forever saying, "Why aren't you here yet? I've met a man who said he's been stuck on the same day for 1,000 years. I want to leave. Help." And she got frustrated and said to herself, "Damn, this girl is slow." The guy said, "She won't come." She said, "How do you know she won't come?" He explained, her ex-boyfriend suddenly came back to her, so she's gotta stay with him. She said, "Stop lying." He pointed at the clock and said, "In 9 minutes and 13 seconds she'll call you." She suddenly stood up and said, "Yeah, I hope so. If she doesn't, you're dead." She hit a guy behind her. The guy suddenly looked at her, and she got nervous. The guy grabbed her wrist and said, "Hey, beauty, you just hurt me. Drink with us and I'll forgive you." She said, "Who are you? Let me go." He said, "Hey, don't be like that. Let's have some fun." The guy in pajamas said, "Wait a second, you, come here." The yellow-haired guy said, "What the hell are you saying?" He then flicked his smoke towards the pajama guy, and he didn't flinch. He thought to himself, why didn't he dodge? Did he predict my move? He suddenly got angry and tried to punch him, but the pajama guy managed to dodge. The yellow-haired guy thought, "Bastard, he dodged again?" Suddenly, he was hit in the chin and flew from the impact. His friend said, "What the frick?" The guy in pajamas said, "Just in time. Now." The boss said, "How dare you touch my man? You're a dead man today." The guy in pajamas said to the boss, "You grew up, huh? Is this how Zhao taught his younger brother?" The boss was shocked and said, "Do you know my brother?" The guy in pajamas talked into his phone and said, "You're good, Zhao. Your brother was just doing some bad stuff around here." The lady was confused. The boss asked, "Who are you, and how do you know his number?" The guy continued talking on the phone. "If you don't want to start a war in China, then do what I said in the May meeting." The boss said, "You even know about the May meeting?" The guy continued, "Keep your people in check. Next time, it won't be a phone call." He tossed his phone to the boss. The boss talked to his brother on the phone. "Sorry, I was wrong. I won't repeat it." The boss made his men bow down and said, "We are all apologizing for our actions." The guy in pajamas said, "I'm in a good mood today, so I won't bother y'all." He took his phone back. The lady was shocked and thought to herself, "Who is this person?" Suddenly, her phone rang. It was already time, and her best friends forever said, "Hey friend, sorry, my boyfriend came back and I can't go to the bar right now. I can take you to dinner tomorrow. Bye." The lady said, "That's impossible." The guy said, "It's not impossible. Come with me." And she said to herself, "I still don't believe it." A few moments later in the parking lot, the lady was shocked and asked, "Is this your car?" He said, "Nope." She said, "You stole a car." He said, "It doesn't matter. Tomorrow it'll be back anyway." She asked, "You won't leave a drunken hot woman home alone, right?" He said, "Sorry, I'm not interested in a woman who uses a ton of makeup to look pretty." She said, "What did you say?" "Wait." She took out a napkin from her bag and began to wipe off her makeup. A few moments later, she asked again, "What about now?" He said, "Well, 9 out of 10. He asked, "Want to go to my place so I can prove I ain't lying?" "Don't worry, the bed is pretty big." She shouted, "If you try to do anything with me, I'll call the police." She still got into the red sports car, and he grinned. "I can't believe a Ferrari is front-wheel drive," he said, making a burnout before speeding away through the streets of China. The next day, in his room, he opened his eyes and said, "Once again, I woke up on the same day." As he sat up, he said, "That beauty is gone now." Suddenly, she said, "Hey, Didn't you say that the day kept repeating? He was shocked. She showed her phone and said, "Now explain why today is July 8th? He looked at his bedside clock and shouted, "What? July 8th? The lady knocked on the door and said, "Wu Chen, what kind of man hides in the toilet? Didn't you say you were going to explain it to me?" He began to shower and said to himself, "This ain't a dream." Time started flowing. I'm finally free from this time and space prank. Ha ha ha. World, I'm here. Wait for me. A system notification said, "The host has passed the Millennium Test and the time reincarnation system has been started." He said to himself, "Is this a system? I've awakened a system?" A system notification said, "Host Wu Chen, attribute strength 7, speed 9, stamina 8, mental strength 1158, time and space reset available. Time limit 365,000. Host abilities English level 9, French level 9, piano level 9, fighting level 9, marksmanship level 9. Total 1,354 items can be expanded." Wu Chen said to himself, "My physical attributes are very ordinary, but my mental power is very high. What does this time reset mean? Can I reset time at will?" A system notification said, "Yes, the host can choose to lock and reset the current time. The time settlement point is 7 a.m. A system notification said, "Reminder, the first time you lock the time reset on the same day, you will consume 1 point of the time quota. Repeatedly resetting the same day will double the time quota each time. The first reset 1 point, the second reset 2 points, the third reset 4 points, the 20th reset 524,288 points." Wu Chen said to himself, "If you reset too many times on the same day, the time quota will be depleted. As long as you don't reset more than once on the same day, there will be no problem." And anyway, active reset and passive reset are two different things. Before, I was trapped in time, but now I can control it. Before the reincarnation, I was just an ordinary student with no skills. But now, I have 1,354 near max level abilities. I have lived 1,000 years of constant time reset, and that is the best proof. Now that time is normal, I will have a use for all my skills. The lady outside said, "Is this guy crazy?" Wu Chen suddenly came out and she said, "So, are you all right?" Wu Chen said, "This is the best day I've had in 1,000 years. She said, "Will you insist on that crap?" Suddenly, someone knocked hard on his apartment door and shouted, "How dare you steal our boss's car? You're a dead man. Open the door." "Damn it," Wu Chen muttered. The lady peeked through the peephole. The people outside said, "Open the door or we're going to break it down," she said to Wu Chen as she panicked. "It's your fault for stealing someone else's car, and now they're looking for you." Wu Chen said, "I didn't know it was going to be a normal day. Coincidentally, I stole Wang's car," she said. "Well, he's someone very famous in the underworld, and now you're being hunted by him. Isn't that great?" Wu Chen said, "He has a great story of overcoming those above him. His parents were beaten and disabled by social workers hired by a third party, and in his anger, he hacked them to pieces and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. After he was released, he started to work in the street and made a name for himself with his high intelligence. Now he's a big name in East China and is very powerful." She said, "You mess with such a powerful man, you're dead." Wu Chen replied, "That is actually a pretty small problem compared to the fact that I borrowed Li Gongzi's name yesterday. If we don't handle this properly, an insane amount of people will be hunted and killed." She asked, "What are you going to do?" Wu Chen said, "Simple, I'll just start it over. System, I want to use the time reset." A system notification said, "The host is resetting for the first time on July 8th, 2020. This will consume 1 time point. Reset starting, reset successful. Remaining time points 364,9999. She showed her phone saying, "Explain it." Wu Chen thought to himself, "Time really reset." She said, "Explain it now." Wu Chen put his finger on her soft lips and said, "There's no time to explain, so get dressed." She suddenly bit his finger. "Ah, ouch," he exclaimed. She said, "Hey, I knew you wouldn't be responsible, but I didn't think you'd be so eager to get rid of me." Wu Chen said, "The car I stole belongs to a big man named Wang Zhuangyuan, and his men are about to come to my door. Of course, you're not afraid, but I can't afford to mess with him as a commoner." She said, "Do you know who I am? If you do, then you know you have to beg me to help you." Wu Chen suddenly grabbed her waist and said, "Just like you begged me last night?" She looked him in the eye. pushed him back, and said, "Bastard, I'll let you die." Wu Chen said, "Sorry to disappoint you, but I know someone who can fix this easily." She asked, "What kind of person?" Wu Chen said, "A woman, one with a lot of heart." A few moments later, the goons said, "The boss's car is ahead." Another goon said, "Catch up, drive faster." Wu Chen floored the gas pedal and said, "Yes." The goons shouted, "Stop the car or I'll kill you." The lady said, "They have guns." Wu Chen said, "That's the fun part." He downshifted and said, "Get ready." As they sped up, the lady exclaimed, "For driving this crazy fast, you're insane." Wu Chen said, "I can't do anything else. If I get caught, I'm dead." The purple-shirted goon said, "Go after him. That car is important for the boss. Get the guy who stole his car." In another scene, the phone rang with an unknown number. A lady answered saying, "Hello." Wu Chen said, "Mr. Li reminds you that you have a traitor on your side who will make you lose the bet." She replied, "Who are you? And how do you know about the bet?" Wu Chen said, "I have my sources, and I can tell you more about your brother." They were hit by the goons as he continued, "Send someone to meet me downstairs at your office in half an hour, and we'll talk in person." She asked, "I want to know who you are." Suddenly, they were cornered by the goons. The lady said, "We're pinned." Wu Chen said, "They can't pinch us." He suddenly pulled the handbrake, stepped on the gas and said, "Watch this insane drift." The lady shouted in fear as he made the Ferrari drift like in the movie Tokyo Drift. The goon said, "What are these skills?" Another goon said, "Is this time for a compliment? Get him." But the Ferrari moved faster and faster, leaving them all behind. The lady shouted for help and suddenly fainted. As Wu Chen said to her, "We got to your home." The lady opened her eyes and saw her house. She asked, "How do you know where I live?" "I'm not even going to ask. You're going to say you lived for 1,000 years. She trembled and stepped out of the car. "But you do have good driving skills. Where did you learn them?" Wu Chen said, "I practiced it through life. I died lots of times to learn this skill." "Don't learn from me. I had lots of chances, but you only have one." She said, "Stop lying. You have my number, but don't think I'll call you." Then, realizing the Ferrari was now rear-wheel drive, Wu Chen did a burnout and left quickly. The lady said, "This bastard, this guy, he fooled me all night and thinks he'll get a phone call." Yeah, what happened later that night was probably something arranged by my friend. Otherwise, he wouldn't know where I live. I'm gonna ask her. You won't escape me. Half an hour later, Wu Chen explained, Li Ruobing, on the surface, is a star entrepreneur in Donghai City, but her background is very complicated. The man who can destroy all of East China is her brother. Of course, because she's a beautiful woman, I had a very deep relationship with her. In the president's office, the assistant said, "He's here." Li Ruobing said, "You can go down first." Wu Chen watched the assistant leave. Li Ruobing suddenly said, "Wu Chen, 22 years old, graduated from the computer science department of Donghai University. Your father is Wu Dahai, your mother is Zhang Shuwan. They run a small restaurant. Additionally, you have a sister in high school named Wu Zhao." Wu Chen replied, "You're very good, finding so much info with only my phone number." Li Ruobing tore the paper and said, "You look ordinary, but someone ordinary wouldn't know about the bet." She stood up and asked, "Who are you?" Wu Chen said, "I ain't ordinary." As she silently thought, Wu Chen continued, "I know a lot of things that you care about, such as who the traitor is that has been lurking around you. If you give me $10 million, I'll tell you the identity of the traitor." "A fair deal," Li Ruobing said, while opening the drawer. "So, you're telling me that I should make a deal with someone who came out of nowhere for info that I can't even know is true?" She pointed her pistol at Wu Chen and said, "Do you think I'll agree? If you don't explain this to me, you won't get out alive." Wu Chen said, "I know you'd really shoot, but without this, how will you?" He began to unload the magazine's bullets. Li Ruobing looked at the gun and saw it had no magazine. She thought to herself, "My pistol was under the table. How did he remove the magazine? Could it be that he did that?" Wu Chen said, "As I said, I'm an intelligent businessman, and how I removed your magazine is part of my intelligence." He put back the magazine and handed over the gun to Li Ruobing, saying, "Ms. Li, please trust my ability to gather information. Also, I don't mean any harm. I'm here for money." He thought to himself, it always takes a motive to get to her, and it makes sense to do it for money. It's reasonable to mention money to lower her psychological defenses. Li Ruobing said, "Tell me, what else do you know?" Wu Chen said, You are the eldest daughter of the Lee family, but because you were treated differently as a girl, you wanted to prove to everyone that women can be stronger than men. However, you could not escape the curse of being in your brother's shadow. Your mother always helped you, but after she divorced your father and he left, she started to date other men and became a pain in the butt, threatening to kill you if you didn't marry Ding Ruolong. You wanted to run away and resist by fleeing the marriage, but you couldn't get away because you were worried about your mother. In order to make Ding Ruolong die, you had 3 fake boyfriends, but they all ended up worse than one another. Your first fake boyfriend committed suicide, the second was sent to a mental hospital, and the third was framed and imprisoned, and probably won't get out for the rest of his life. Ding Ruolong is a careful person. He did that to all your boyfriends and spread the news, so no man would get close to you. In order to escape the fate of marriage, you and Ding Ruolong made a secret bet. You and Ding Ruolong each opened a new business, and the one who's bigger after 5 years wins the bet. But the thing you don't know is that Ding Ruolong took someone from your side to his side and made him a spy. On the day of the launch, he'll ruin everything for you. Do I need to keep on talking? Li Rubing silently listened and thought. She took out a checkbook and said, "Tell me, who's this traitor?" Wu Chen said, "Yes, I will." Suddenly, the assistant knocked on the door and came into her office with papers. Senior Assistant Feng Yan said, "Ms. Li, I need you to sign this document." Suddenly, Wu Chen grabbed Senior Assistant Feng Yan's hair, slammed his face on the table, and pointed the gun at his head saying, "It's him." Senior Assistant Feng Yan said, What are you talking about?" Wu Chen said, "The $5 million in your Swiss bank account are there for what?" Senior Assistant Feng Yan replied, "What 5 million? What are you talking about?" "Miss, you're mistaken." Wu Chen said, "You really won't spit anything, huh?" He began to get something from Senior Assistant Feng Yan's pants and opened a phone. The recording said, "Ding Ruolong, did you get the information?" Li Rubing was shocked after hearing this. Wu Chen said, "Do you want to continue to argue?" and threw Senior Assistant Feng Yan to the floor. Li Rubing said, "You've made a lot of money over the years, both explicitly and implicitly, and I didn't take it personally because you've been with me for so many years, but I never thought you would sell me out for a mere $5 million. Senior Assistant Feng Yan, hitting his forehead on the floor, said, "Miss, I did take the money, but I need to tell you something." Wu Chen said, "Your mother did not want you to marry Ding Ruolong and become a sacrificial lamb like her, but she was pressured by your grandfather to do so. Ding Ruolong told him to say this because he knows your mother is your weak point. Don't believe his words. You decide what to do with him." Li Rubing said, "Go away. I don't want to see you again." Senior Assistant Feng Yan replied, "Thank you, miss. Thank you, miss." And he ran away. Wu Chen said, "I thought you were going to kill him." Li Rubing said, "I just didn't want to do it myself. He'll be sunk in cement at the bottom of the river tonight. To be honest, I'm still suspicious of your identity. You were probably sent by Ding Ruolong, and Feng Yan was a pawn that Ding Ruolong discarded in order to make me trust you." Wu Chen said, "You are really suspicious, but I have a way to clarify your questions." Li Rubing said, "What?" Wu Chen said, "Very simple. Let me be your fake boyfriend. Ding Ruolong is most concerned about his face. He will not cuckold himself just to win you. So being your boyfriend is the best way for me to prove my innocence." Li Rubing said, "I had 3 fake boyfriends before, but they were all badly screwed by Ding Ruolong." Wu Chen said, "I know, but if people want to climb higher, having a relationship with you will make life very interesting, right?" Li Rubing pointed the gun at his face again and said, "I have to admit that you are very special, courageous and bold, and you're still so young. It would be a pity if you leave this world like this. You're not afraid?" Wu Chen said, "If you really want to kill someone, you will just call someone in. It's just a joke. Why should I be afraid?" Li Rubing looked at him silently, put her gun away, and said, "I really like you." She grabbed Wu Chen's face and said, "Couples should always have an intimate photo." She took out her phone and took a picture together with Wu Chen. Wu Chen thought to himself, she should be able to find a photo to send to Ding Ruolong, on the one hand to disgust him, on the other hand to ensure that I was not sent by Ding Ruolong. Li Rubing said, "From today onwards, you are my boyfriend. Come and be my personal assistant. I'll have someone apply for you later. Tell me, what happened to my brother?" Wu Chen said, "East China Sea Crown, Central China Regal, South China Sea Plaza, China's top 3 entertainment clubs, among them East China Sea Crown, are run by your brother." Li Rubing said, "Everyone in the East China Sea knows these things." Wu Chen said, East China Sea Crown has done some things beyond its boundary, involving many top celebrities, rich people, and officials. The investigation began 3 months ago. According to what I know now, it is estimated that the net will be closed in another month at most. Li Ruobing was shocked and said, "What did you say?" Wu Chen continued, "This is not only your brother's problem but also trouble for your alive family. Once the net is closed, your brother will not only go to prison, if necessary, your Li family will even need to cut ties with your brother." Li Ruobing said, "This is a very, very big deal. Are you sure your information is correct?" Wu Chen said, "Don't ask me." In another scene at the East China Sea Crown Entertainment Club, the purple shirt goon said to his boss, "This is how it happened." Li Ruotai's right hand, Wang Zhuangyuan, said, "He injured Zhao Zi's men, stole my car, and borrowed Mr. Li's name. Does this guy not want to live?" Li Ruotai's left hand, Zhao Guizi, said, "It's strange. Why would that brat have my phone number and know about the May rally?" Eldest grandson of the Li family, Mr. Li, formerly known as Li Ruotai, said, "Whatever the reason, find him and bring him to me. I'll kill him with my own hands." Suddenly, Li Ruobing entered the room. Wang Zhuangyuan and Zhao Guizi were shocked, and both said, "Miss Li." Li Ruotai was startled in his chair and said, "Sis?" Li Ruotai immediately said, "Put out the smoke. My sister doesn't like the smell of cigarettes." He immediately put out his smoke and said, "Sis, why did you come in person? Is there any urgent matter?" Li Ruobing said, "I'm here to introduce you to someone." Wu Chen said, "Yesterday, I borrowed your car to play. Here's the key. The car is in the underground parking lot of Fantasy Fashion." He threw the keys to Li Ruotai. Li Ruotai looked at the keys. The purple shirt goon said, "That's him. Mr. Li, this is the person who used your name." Wu Chen thought to himself, Ruotai, the eldest grandson of the Li family, is the most favored in the family and is able to use most of the family's power. Compared to Li Ruobing, Li Ruotai is really strong, and his strength is not weaker than Ding Ruilong. Li Ruobing grew up tough from a young age. She spared no effort to protect her brother or beat him. This also led Li Ruotai to both respect and fear his sister. Li Ruotai said, "Sis, this boy is..." Li Ruobing suddenly pinched his ear and said, "What, this boy? This is your brother-in-law." Li Ruotai was shocked and said, "Brother-in-law?" Wang Zhuangyuan and Zhao Guizi were shocked and thought to themselves, "Boss, brother-in-law?" Li Ruotai said, "Sis, are you playing the fake boyfriend trick again? Isn't the boy you picked this time too ordinary? Can you give me a reason why I have to accept him?" Li Ruobing thought silently for a moment. Then she said, "Sorry, I'm not feeling well recently." She pounded Wu Chen's chest and said, "It's all your fault." Wu Chen got close to her and whispered, "Aren't you adding too much drama?" "What? Are you afraid that Ding Ruilong will kill you?" "I'm not afraid, but..." She trailed off. "Your brother seems to be stunned," Wu Chen noted. Li Ruotai thought to himself, "Is my sister pregnant? Is it this man's child? Is this all true? He doesn't look bad, but he isn't the most handsome. And my sister likes older men. Why is she going out with a man in his early 20s? Wait, does he want to deceive her? Sometimes love makes people blind. Love makes people's IQ go to zero. I need to save her from this man." Li Ruotai asked Wu Chen and Li Ruobing, "How did you two meet?" Wu Chen answered, 3 months ago, when your sister was recruiting interns at a university." Li Ruobing thought to herself, "I really did that, but how does he know it?" Li Ruotai said, "You've only known him for 3 months? Sister, in such a short time, did you really get to know this man? They said you were with a girl at the Lotus Bar yesterday." Li Ruobing said, "A girl?" Wu Chen said, "Don't get me wrong. That woman is Mu Qianqian, the daughter of Mu Sihai, the owner of the East China Sea Mu Biomedical Group. Speaking of which, you have to thank me. Yesterday, if I had not stopped Lu Huzi, and he had really made a move on her, you may not have been able to fix that." Wu Chen explained to himself, East China Sea MU Group is the leading biomedical group in the East China Sea. The old board, Mu Sihai, is worth billions of dollars and is a deputy to the National People's Congress. There's a lot of good contacts there. If the group in East China is a dragon, then Mu's group is a small snake, Wu Chen said. When fighting against Mu's group, even if you win, you still have to pay a huge price, no? Li Ruotai said, "Thank you, bro." Li Ruobing thought to herself, I didn't expect that my brother, who is not afraid of the world, would be subdued by Wu Chen in a few words. Li Ruobing said, "Stop the bull crap. We came here for something important. Someone from above wants to move the Crown Club." Wang Zhuangyuan and Zhao Guizi exclaimed, "What?" Li Ruotai said, "Impossible. I took care of everything. I would know if that was the case. Wu Chen said, you shouldn't have taken the video to blackmail those people, and your business with Jihu should have been cut off a long time ago. Li Rubing said, you're still in touch with Z? How many times have I told you, he's not a good person? Li Ruotai said, sister, calm down. I can explain. Wu Chen said, your sister is right. Z is not a good person. He sold you out this time. He put the blame on you for what happened and said it was your idea. Li Ruotai said, my sister didn't even know about my business with Jihu. How could you know? Who told you? Wu Chen said, no need to clarify it for you. I'm here for her, not for you. I'll only help you because you're her brother, and if something happens to you, she'll be sad. Li Ruotai silently trembled and then shouted, pointing at Wu Chen, I'm telling you, if you don't make it clear today, you won't walk out of here alive. Li Ruobing said, hey, calm down, let him finish. Li Ruotai said, sister, I don't care how he lied to you, but I won't believe this liar who can't even speak clearly. Wu Chen said, now, only a few people in China know about this. 4 months ago, Liao Bo, who was parachuted into the East China Sea Police Department as deputy director, came to handle the Crown Entertainment case. Some investigators disguised as guests went undercover, and others have lurked in the clubhouse and collected a lot of evidence. Wu Chen handed a piece of paper to Li Ruotai and said, this is the list of undercover agents. Li Ruotai was shocked after reading the names. He immediately said to Zhao Guaizi, hey, you, notify everyone, start grabbing weapons. Zhao Guaizi responded, yes, sir. Li Ruotai then turned to Wang Zhuangyuan, you, take your men to investigate this list. Wang Zhuangyuan replied, yes, sir. Li Ruotai said to Wu Chen, this is all your info. If it's wrong, it's your fault. Wu Chen sat on the couch and said, tell me how much money you are willing to spend. A few moments later, after smoking a pack of cigarettes, Li Ruotai watched the video in the camera recorder and was shocked. He slammed the camera recorder and said, all the people on the list, capture them. Now, I can't freaking believe it. Wu Chen said, they can't be captured. If one of them goes missing, the cops will start acting. They've got some evidence on you, on some casino-related things, so be careful. Li Ruotai asked, what do you want me to do then? Wu Chen said, do you want to proceed with this and go to jail, or do you want to get through this safely? Li Ruotai became silent and asked, do you have a solution? Wu Chen said, tell your people not to go there yet. Li Ruotai looked at Wang Zhuangyuan, and they exchanged signals. Li Ruotai said, what now? Wu Chen smiled and said, apologize to me, and I'll fix everything. Wu Chen thought to himself, I gotta show him some respect, since I'm part of his family now. Li Ruobing asked, what are you doing? We're family, help him. She grabbed Wu Chen's arm and pressed her breast against him. Wu Chen said, he doesn't see me as family. Li Ruotai sweated and said, well, what are you talking about? Of course I do. Wu Chen laughed. Li Ruotai said, sorry. I was only afraid that you were cheating her. Wu Chen said, I don't know if that's true. Just for the sake of your sister, I'll give you an idea. First, you have to kill Jihu. He knows too much. If he's alive, nothing will work. Jihu often goes to Villa in the Lotus Pond Manor to use drugs with his mistress. If he dies of an overdose, no one will suspect you. Li Ruotai said, yes. Great idea. Wu Chen continued. Second, now all the evidence is in Liao Bo's hands. Just take out the evidence and destroy it, then you will be safe. Li Ruotai said, okay, I'll get him. Wu Chen said, are you crazy? He's too big of a figure for you to just get him. Willow Street, 2nd Avenue, unit, room. Under the master bedroom closet, there's a hidden safe. The password is 570-1564. The evidence is inside. Because it is a top secret mission, in order to prevent leaks, the evidence is only this. You can send someone to steal and destroy it. Li Ruotai said, so detailed. You even know the password. Wu Chen continued. Third, you will tell the old man about this matter, especially the business with Jihu. You must explain it clearly. After all, it's the Wei family we're talking about. The Li family and the Wei family have been hostile for many years, and both sides were once in a full-scale war, and many people went to prison because of it. The Wei family has always had the upper hand, which is why Master Li wanted to join forces with the Ding family to fight the Wei family. You let the Wei family seize the opportunity, they want to take advantage of the situation to fight the Li family. When the trouble is resolved, there's going to be lots of things to deal with. The old man must know about this. Li Ruotai said, okay, I'll talk to him. Wu Chen said, and the cherry on top set fire to the Crown Club. Li Ruotai was shocked and said, "A fire?" Wu Chen said, "Just a little fire, preferably one that appears on the news, so you can justify shutting down and redecorating without anyone suspecting you. If you can do these 4 things, I can guarantee that you'll be okay." Li Ruobing suddenly pinched Li Ruotai's ears and said, Hey. Did you understand what he said? Li Ruotai said, "Hey, stop, don't worry, I got it." Suddenly, Li Ruotai's phone rang. He answered it and said, "Hey, how much did you lose?" The caller said, 2 billion. Li Ruotai said, 2 billion? I'll go there, wait for me. Li Ruotai told them, "Something happened at the casino, wait for me here." Wu Chen said, "It's Shen Guangjun, the owner of Fusheng Aluminum?" Li Ruotai was shocked and said, "How do you know?" A few minutes later at the casino, people minded their own business as a dealer shouted, "Big! Big!" Wu Chen said, "Shen Guangjun arrived in the East China Sea yesterday and purposely cleared the gambling experts from the city of Macau in the Special Administrative Region, intending to snow the previous shame. You're screwed. Who you are doesn't matter here. This is the casino. You and she whose business, to put it bluntly, relies on your contacts to cheat some not-so-powerful mob to steal the crown gambling money. The casino works like that. They let you win, then take it all from you." Shen Guangjun lost several hundred million here, leading to the company's cash flow being cut off. To solve the capital problem, Shen Guangjun raised money from various sources. In the process, he discovered that many wealthy individuals had lost money like him. Shen Guangjun shared this with the Li family's arch-rival, the Wei family. During their investigation, the Wei family discovered the secretly filmed tape. They seized this opportunity and united with others, ready to use the tape to bring down the Li family. Under normal circumstances, Shen Guangjun wouldn't dare to bring a gambling expert to the venue, as he couldn't afford to mess with the Li family. But now, he doesn't care because he knows you're finished. Li Ruotai said, "He dared to mess with me, he won't be alive for long." Wu Chen said, "Don't get too excited." In a private room, Shen Guangjun, the boss of Fusheng Aluminum, stood while looking at his friend with glasses. The guy with glasses said, "Shunzi," and his opponent felt pain in his chest, saying, "Defeat." Shen Guangjun took all of the chips and said, "Ha ha ha, I'm rich." Suddenly Li Ruotai said, "You got a good hand today, boss Shen." Shen Guangjun looked at them coming. Li Ruotai smiled at him. Shen Guangjun said, "Not bad. I won a lot of money today. Mr. Li won't mind, right?" Li Ruotai said, "This little money the Li family can still afford to lose." Shen Guangjun said, "But all the experts of the Crown Club took turns to play and still lost. It seems that Mr. Li has little talent under him." Wu Chen said, "I don't think so," and he picked up a deck of cards, playing with it like magic. "Boss Shen, how about playing 2 games with me?" He showed a royal flush of spades. Shen Guangjun said, "How come there's a youngster here instead? Mr. Li, aren't you being too modest? Today you have lost 200 million against me and you still want to keep going?" "How embarrassing, ha ha ha," Li Ruotai said. "What's going on? My brother-in-law is skilled in gambling too?" Li Ruobing said, "This. I'm also not sure, to be honest." Gambling masters are good at guessing the psychology of their opponents through minimal expressions and habitual movements. This requires a great deal of experience in the game, which this youngster is unlikely to possess. Just by looking at the young man's expression, he could accurately guess his cards. Li Ruobing suddenly said to Wu Chen, "Hey, are you up to the task?" Wu Chen said, "I can say without a doubt that I can defeat any casino in this world." And he sat at the table, looking at his opponent seriously. Not looking at the concealed cards. Is that a playing habit? Wu Chen showed his card, the ace of spades. His opponent said, "You go first, you have the bigger hand." Wu Chen threw his chips and said, 500,000. His opponent fixed his glasses and said, "Call." The dealer said, "Next bet, please." Wu Chen said, 500,000. The dealer asked, "And you, mister?" He folded. Round 4, his opponent folded again. Round Wu Chen said, 500,000. Round Wu Chen folded. Round 21, his opponent called, 500,000. Wu Chen said, "I win once again." Li Ruotai said, "Mr. Shen, this person you hired seems like he's running out of luck." Shen Guangjun said, "Humph, I estimate that Boss Li will have a lucky break." He thought to himself, "Brat, you think that victory is at hand, but unbeknownst to you, you've already been caught in the trap." In the car, his friend said, I have a habit of intentionally losing a few games at the beginning to closely observe my opponent's habits, analyze his way of thinking, and then incentivize him. You have nothing to worry about, Shen Guangjun said. When we reach the casino, it's all up to you. Li Ruotai thought to himself. Li Ruotai has already lost more than 200 million. Refusing to keep playing is difficult, and in case this kid's chips aren't enough, the casino side will certainly add. Round 30, the dealer said, "Next bet, please." Wu Chen said, 1 million. The glasses guy looked at his card and said, "Call." Without looking at the concealed cards, trusting his luck completely, Wu Chen suddenly said after seeing the turn, "Go on, another million." The glasses guy thought to himself, "I have a very bad hand, and I have a pair of kings, almost a sure win." The glasses guy said, "Since it's going to be like this, I'm all in." Li Ruotai thought to himself, "Just by looking at the cards, my brother-in-law has a better chance of winning," but he didn't look at the bottom card, so the result is still uncertain. Wu Chen touched his cards and suddenly said, "I'm all in too." The glasses guy said, "There is too little money on the table. Why don't we add another 100 million? Wu Chen said, "Another 100 won't be enough to play. Let it be 200 million in chips instead." Li Ruobing sweated nervously. Li Ruotai suddenly called for the sexy bunny ladies, and they brought chips for Wu Chen. Wu Chen said, "I raised the bet by 100 million. What about you?" The glasses guy thought to himself, "Based on my observations, he only points his finger at his hidden card when it's really important. In other words, there's a high probability that his card is an ace." He suddenly said, "I fold," and threw his king of hearts. "You are too eager, Mr. Wu. If you had followed my advice and added only 50 million, you would have won 50 million more." Li Ruotai nervously asked, "Your bottom card is an ace?" Wu Chen said, "Nope, my bottom card is the two of hearts." The glasses guy slammed the table and shouted, "You tricked me." Wu Chen said, "You didn't dare to keep up. Don't blame me." The glasses guy got frustrated and said, "Don't be smug. Now I've grasped yet another one of your habits." Round 31 began. Both the glasses guy and Wu Chen became serious as they looked at their cards. The glasses guy saw that his card was the 9 of diamonds and thought, "We both have the same hand, so unless his concealed card is the 9 of spades, there's no way he can beat me." The probability of all 4 nines coming out in one game is very low. The bottom line is that he didn't look at his concealed cards. He nodded at Shen Guangjun, planning something, and thought, "Looks like now is the time. The net is closed." Shen Guangjun smiled from a distance. The glasses guy said, "This is a good hand for both you and me. How about we play a hand to determine the winner?" "My 200 million, all in." Wu Chen said, "Interesting, I call." The room fell silent. Li Ruobing said, "Isn't a bet of more than 200 million too risky?" Li Ruotai said, "He's been very lucky so far. There's no problem." Shen Guangjun and the glasses guy looked at each other and thought, "He's feeling confident." The glasses guy said, "I'm in. Young man, the most important thing while gambling is to not lose your mind. If you can't control your mind, you won't get far. Do you think you are the god of gambling, betting so much without looking at the hidden card properly?" He threw his 9 of diamonds and said, "This 200 million is already mine." Li Ruobing, Shen Guangjun, and Li Ruotai all exclaimed, "This is a guaranteed win." Shen Guangjun said, "Mr. Li, you have a big family. You won't mind if you lose such a small amount of money, right?" Li Ruotai just mumbled and grinned. Wu Chen suddenly said, "Are you done? If you are, see for yourself." He took out his card, and Li Ruobing felt a surge of excitement. The glasses guy began to sweat and stammered, "This." The card was the 9 of spades. You read the cards? "That's impossible. When did you read them?" he asked. Wu Chen said, "Did you really think I didn't look at them? I've been checking my cards every time since the first game. Guess why? To look at them without your notice. You're a good player, but you're just too cocky. You didn't really think you could figure out how I played with just a few hands, did you? Is my flaw really a flaw? Are my habitual moves really habits? Did you think, even for a second, that I was trying to fool you? From the beginning, I have been controlling this game, in which you're the prey." Suddenly, Li Ruotai grabbed Shen Guangjun's shoulder and said, "Mr. Shen, the money you used was all borrowed, right? Now you're in big trouble." Shen Guangjun stammered, "How? How did this happen?" The glasses guy said, "Mr. Shen, Shen Guangjun said, "Let's talk outside." Wu Chen said, "Stop. Where are you going?" Shen Guangjun said, "Mr. Li, am I not allowed to leave after losing? Is this how you treat your guests?" Li Ruotai asked, "Why can't they go?" Wu Chen said, "I'll explain it later. Do you have a knife? Lend it to me." Li Ruotai handed over his knife and asked, "Do you know how to use one?" Wu Chen opened the knife and said, "What do you think?" He then approached the glasses guy, grabbed his right wrist, and a card fell from his sleeve as he trembled. Li Ruotai was shocked. Wu Chen said, "You asked for a card check before the 15th game and took the opportunity to steal this ace of spades, hiding it in your sleeve, and you really thought I didn't see it? I didn't expose you because I hadn't won yet." Li Ruotai shouted, "How dare you cheat in front of me?" "Mr. Shen, can you explain?" Shen Guangjun suddenly began to sweat buckets. The glasses guy said, "It's a misunderstanding." Wu Chen suddenly pinned him down to the table and said, "You broke the rules. You know what happens?" He then stabbed the glasses guy's hand and said, "Suffer the consequences." The glasses guy shouted, "Ah, my hand, my hand." Wu Chen said, "Mr. Shen, what do you say?" The glasses guy groaned, "Frick, my hand." Shen Guangjun panicked and said, "No, it has nothing to do with me. He cheated by himself. I didn't tell him to." Wu Chen turned to Li Ruotai and said, "I'll leave now. Handle the rest. Remember, don't touch them in the clubhouse." Li Ruotai was shocked by Wu Chen's words, and Li Ruobing asked, "Does it feel good to stab someone's hand?" Wu Chen replied, "Not at all." Li Ruobing said, "What?" Wu Chen asked, "If you cut your own hand, what would it feel like?" Li Ruobing stopped walking, staring at Wu Chen in amazement. She thought to herself, how can he be so calm and say this after stabbing someone's hand? This person wouldn't kill someone, right? Outside, Wu Chen and Li Ruobing drove off in her Rolls-Royce Ghost. Li Ruobing said, "I didn't expect you to be such a good gambler." Wu Chen said, "Thanks, but don't forget to pay my bills." Li Ruobing said, "You only think of money." Suddenly, Wu Chen noticed something outside and observed closely. Li Ruobing asked, "What's the matter?" Wu Chen said, "A car has been following us." The chauffeur confirmed, "Boss, that car is following us." Li Ruobing said, "Get rid of it. That pervert Ding Ruilong still likes to send people to follow me." Wu Chen thought to himself, "No, it wasn't Ding Ruilong. Their target is not you." He held her hand and said, "Don't be afraid. I'll take care of everything." Li Ruobing looked away and thought, he's using this as an opportunity to hit on me. Not gonna lie, it was a very good one. Li Ruobing said, "You're probably hungry. Because of what you did today, I'll give you something good." A few moments later, they went to the mall and sat in a restaurant. Wu Chen said, "There are a lot of people that know you here. Aren't you afraid they'll think of me as a competitor?" Li Ruobing said, "I want more people to know you." Suddenly, Mr. Han Deli, chairman of the Longcheng Innovation Group, said, "Hi, Ms. Li, are you here to eat too?" Li Ruobing said, "Yes, Mr. Han. My boyfriend said he wanted to eat Cantonese food, so I brought him here." Wu Chen, this is Mr. Han from Longcheng Innovation Group. Mr. Han Deli extended his hand for a shake and said, "It's a pleasure to meet you. You're a good-looking man. A perfect match for Ms. Li." Wu Chen said, "Thank you, Mr. Han. You're very kind." Mr. Han Deli laughed. "Ha ha ha. Sorry to interrupt your date. My client arrived, so I have to go." Li Ruobing said, "Han Deli is a nice guy, likes to make friends, and he's an officer of the East China Sea Chamber of Commerce." Wu Chen said, "No need for introductions. I know him better than you." Li Ruobing said, Yes, you're the best businessman around." Wu Chen said, "But I don't think everyone wants to be friends with you." Li Ruobing said, "Of course. I have lots of rivals, especially women. But it's silly to think of me as an enemy, isn't it?" Wu Chen said, "That's true." Suddenly, a lady said, "Oh, isn't this Miss Li? What a coincidence. But Miss Li, since when did you have a boyfriend?" Wu Chen looked at her and thought to himself, Lu Kaishu, formerly known as Lu Liwan, 32 years old, from Liwan Village, Irma County, Donghai City. 7 years ago, she married Lu Guanyan, chairman of the Donghai Jewelry Group, and had a son with him. With the help of Lu Guanyan, she set up Yunshu Fashion Company. She is a business competitor of Li Ruobing. Lu Kaishu said, "You're 27 years old. The young man looks like he's in his early 20s, so you're like an old cow eating young grass." Li Ruobing said, "Miss Lu, for the sake of Lu Laoban, I'll take your words as a joke." "Please stop," Lu Kaishu said. "Do you still care what other people say?" Li Ruobing said, "I told you to stop." She grabbed her cup of warm coffee, but just as she was about to throw it at Liu Kaishu, Wu Chen grabbed her wrist. Wu Chen said, "Take it easy, let me solve this." He approached Liu Kaishu and looked at her from head to chest. Liu Kaishu asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Wu Chen said, "Nothing, it's just that I think I've seen you before somewhere." He remembered and said, That's right, I remember. Have you worked in a nightclub before? Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.